Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. I was recently asked about my thoughts on the Zeny-Only server. The devs haven't yet confirmed if it's coming to Global or C yet, but they are taking some feedback from testing it out. I think the Zeny-Only server deals with some of ROM's issues in a nice way, and it is only possible with a completely new server. I'll give my thoughts on 10 features that make the Zeny-Only server great, and at the end I'll let you know if I'll make a character on the Zeny-Only server if it got released on Global. Keep in mind this is still in its testing stage, so things are subject to change. Also, fantastic news, I have codes to give away. I have 10 C, 10 Global, and 10 EU codes to give away. In the comment section say, what are your initial impressions of the Zeny-Only server? Please include your Discord ID and which server you play on, such as C, Global, or EU, and winners will get codes June 21st, 2024. With that said, let's begin. Number 1, there's better class balance and identity. In the past when I had interviewed the devs, they had mentioned how difficult it was to balance all the classes. With 33 classes right now, balancing and power creeping is definitely a problem. In the Zeny-Only server, there are only 12 classes. There are no 4th jobs either. I personally find the game to be very balanced without the 4th jobs and only 12 classes. For example, Shura used to be the MVP killer, but I think the 4th job for Blacksmith, which is Lightbringer, took that glory away from them and their identity. With Pioneer and Machine Revolution, you could easily outdamage Shuras without as much setup or downtime in comparison. I personally think Lightbringer was one of the reasons why Shura lost its popularity. Now, if a class loses its primary objective, then why would anyone want to pick it? Now, this model only works if they keep the class count low. Although I'm not opposed to new classes being added, I don't think 4th jobs should ever exist. Because after all, this is where most of the broken classes come out of. I'd rather prefer 12 highly balanced classes than having a huge roster. And even without 4th jobs, I think that Doram and Taekwon are really strong. If those get added, I think those would definitely destroy some of the balancing. Next for number 2, is better team play. One of the reasons I like ROM is I can feel like an overpowered anime protagonist. I feel like for many MMOs that are supposed to be played as a team, you typically don't allow a single person to destroy a boss that should require 6 people to work as a team. Now, this certainly helps with carries and makes the game more fun for me. I also acknowledge that White Star Airship has brought back more team play for endgame folks as well. But it would be nice if other instances also encourage team play, without busted classes such as Rathkrasi, Ronin, Heinrich, Fenrir, and so on. The potential to solo carry will be much lower. The original classes without 4th jobs just don't have that power level. If you have to deal with Museum or Isles, it will be hard and you'll need some good team play. ROM thrives from friendships and relationships with people you meet there, and people that used to carry me or party with me are still friends with me today, so to encourage team play is great. Number 3, no 1% deposits. I think that the 1% deposit is one of the reasons people don't want to start ROM, since to catch up it's nearly impossible. Sometimes new servers get released, which levels the playing field for a bit. But if there's the potential to get 2% attack and magic attack deposits each month, then each month you're not playing you already start to feel worse. Also, for highly competitive players, especially for PvP, spending hundreds of dollars a month to get these deposits each month can be very painful, and people can burn out and stop playing. With the existing servers, you can still enjoy PvE without all these deposits, because oftentimes the target boss is fixed, so you'll get stronger over time and then you can handle it. But if your target is a player that continuously gets stronger every month, that is tough. For these new servers to keep the playing field level, I think this is a great idea and leads to longer term appeal for new players. Next is number 4, simplified farming. I really love that you can get free offline farming vouchers. It doesn't cost PCC or money as you get it from Advanced Kafka. In addition, instead of having combat time, you now have a cap on the number of monsters you can kill per day. The biggest advantage to this is that even if you farm inefficiently, such as multiple hits to kill or no AoE, you can still farm. That means classes that aren't good at farming in our servers, like Knight, can still farm. A player doesn't need to choose a good farming class when they start and can instead choose a class they want. This is a great change since it doesn't force you to play a class just to earn Zeny. In our servers, you need a good farming class for long-term play, so I often recommend Blacksmith or Hunter, but maybe a person wants to play another class instead. I think this is great for many players, but personally I still love to farm and finding efficient ways to farm, and you'll get less of an advantage on these servers. Number 5. Faster Nolan rolls. In this Zeny-Only server, Nolan rolls only cost 1500 Nolan cards. 1500 Nolan cards is a lot lower, and I hope they keep it that way. These days on our servers, just waiting for rolls for the dopamine hit is really what I live for, and I wish we could get this lower on ours. For global, I think there's a very short supply of MVP cards, and I wish they would increase the supply by decreasing the time to roll. Next, number 6 is simplified equipment. There's no more ancient equipment, no more synthesis, no Oracle Mirror, and no shadow equipment. For new players starting out in existing servers, this is information overload. There's just too much stuff and it can get confusing. I think simpler stuff is easier for people to pick up. I also find ancient equipment random attributes to be infuriating. Sometimes you just don't get the ones you want. So now when you do instances, you get costumes and headwear from your instances. Costumes don't give 1% deposits, and headwear are past ones that we know of. There's no OP 1% deposit ones either. Next, for number 7, it's a better PvP experience for new players. PvP on Global, C, or EU is insane. The difference in power is huge, so I often don't recommend new players even attempt PvP because they can't do much until much later. Without 1% gachas, the playing field is a bit more leveled. You also can't get super busted gachas either, and if you want to play PvP, I would recommend the Zeny-Only server, especially if you aren't pay to win. Next, for number 8 is the ability to frequently balance. They have patch notes for balance updates that are only affecting the Zeny-Only server. Since those balance changes won't affect our servers, they have more freedom to make changes as needed. I hope they'll continually balance this server so that the classes are better. Next, for number 9, there's less unfair advantages to whales. You can still buy Zeny with real money and stuff like advanced Kafka tiers, but you don't have to deal with some of the insane BCC advantages that we got on our servers. For example, whenever there's a collab, the event card is truly busted and often a best in slot, so many people buy that and it's quite unfair for people that don't invest money in this game. So how would they make money? There's still some great options. For example, cosmetics are still good. There's often many games where people just spend money on cosmetics and there's no functional difference to it. Also, if there's ways to auto-complete stuff quickly, such as Echoing Corridor, that would help a lot too. That doesn't give people an unfair advantage because it doesn't mean they can do more of it, that just means they don't have to spend time on it. Finally, for number 10, there's less game modes. Weeklies take about 3 hours a week with me for friends and for carries. We're already speedrunning most of it, but this still takes that much time. Since there are less mechanics in the Zeny-Only server, that means there's less instances. I think this will definitely prevent fatigue, and I'm all for it. It's hard to convince a new player to commit such a large time, especially for playing a game, so I think having less is actually better. One of the reasons I don't do 6v6 is because I just don't have time after doing weeklies, and I focus more on PvE, so if I didn't have to do them, then maybe I would have more time to do PvP. So finally, will I play this? Yes, I will make content on this server because it is unique enough. I don't participate in any of the new server openings beyond the Destiny's Promise on Global quite a long time ago. The advantage of having a new server and having a level playing field is often short-lived, and I would really need something new or I will continue playing on the main servers. I have made enough accounts for making videos, and starting again many times does get boring, so for existing players to get really hyped for this, it really needs to be a unique experience. And I really think this is what the Zeny-Only server provides, a truly new unique experience. If I were to play on this server, I would focus on PvP. I think that's the part that would be the most balanced, and I would truly enjoy this more. The biggest thing I would miss is probably not feeling like a god in PvE, and that's because I don't get Wrathcracy or Ronins. But having a team of people killing bosses does remind me of ROM a few years ago, when that was the only thing possible. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is a good direction? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I would recommend, and if you want more ROM sneak peeks, check out this playlist over here.